All right, looks like we are live now on YouTube. Hello, everyone. It is a beautiful Tuesday, November 16th edition of our OpenJS Foundation Standards Working Group, PALS. We start with announcements and other fun stuff. Anybody have any fun, or just they don't have to be fun. I don't mean to put pressure on you to be fun. Any announcements to share this week about project news, upcoming OpenJS news, personal excitement? Also cool.
Well, as usual, there's great things on our calendar today. We have a marketing committee meeting. It is, look at my calendar block. It is at 12 o'clock Pacific time, our marketing committee. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to join us. I know we have our CPC working session today. You want to give a...
That's right after this, Joe.
That is correct. I think we're working on tech strategy today.
We are working. That's right.
Yeah, so these are exciting times, as you can tell from my voice.
Very serious excitement.
Yeah. Program committee for the event is 8 a.m. Pacific on Thursday. Plans are coming together nicely, so that's exciting. And we're just in the beginnings of starting to invite some folks to keynote. The list is still getting fine-tuned. CFPs will still go out in January, so we're kind of on track, and we'll have a sponsor prospectus ready to go this week.
And I think that's all of like the regular stuff that's coming up. Obviously, next week is a US holiday. So expect to see some maybe event changes and cancellations and stuff for some of your regular project and committee working meetings and that sort of thing. So double check your calendars. But I think that's probably it announcements wise. So I don't know that we have like any big recent project news to share either. So kind of quiet this last week, which is cool. Great. So that's it for announcements. We can move on to our agenda. See, the first item, which is still on the agenda from last week, so it just needs to be removed. Let me go take that label off while we discuss it. Unless somebody wants to give a recap really quick. We had Jonathan Lips from Appium talk about his idea for developing a community or specification community around cross-platform UI-based app automation. We had a couple of action items as a result of that chat last week or 2 weeks ago. Do check it out if you're interested.
It's on YouTube, on the OpenJS Foundation YouTube channel. That was a public session, so check it out.
Okay, so I'm just going to remove that label so it's not on the agenda next week. Cool, that's that. Next up, we have another one that I think needs to be removed, document delegates and delegate approval process. It's kind of a long-standing one that just keeps popping up. And there's an open PR. You go check that PR. The PR has been approved. Any objections to merging this PR that was approved quite some time ago? Nope. Okay, done. All right, we shall remove that then. Cool. And then, of course, we have some of the more fun stuff, which I gave a tiny sneak peek of at the end of the last meeting, which is our logo sort of brand concepts for the Spec Ed site, which is super cool. Would it be helpful if I screen share? And I just shared in Slack these concepts, but maybe it's easier to also see them together. Is that okay? Cool. Right. Doing a quick preview here. Hopefully y'all can see. So this is concept 1, I think. And there was some initial just sort of like feedback, I think, last week about sort of the wisteria kind of like what do you call it? Like flowers maybe being hard to read on this one. But so we see logo concept 1 with a couple of different treatments here.
Jory, my only feedback on having these standalone W's, especially with sort of the serifs, is it looks like the WordPress W a little bit. So.
Yeah. That's a good point. It does kind of look like a WordPress.
I'll log into WordPress lately. That's which most of us do frequently.
Is wistful a word root we want to associate it with? Like wist is a sad thing to me because it's the root for wistful. That's where it led to my question.
Well, I mean, this does get back to like the acronym point that Emily raised, right? We weren't thinking about wistfulness, for example, but rather it as this acronym and it kind of being connected to things that grow and provide support and are networked. So like a big wisteria plant that's sort of like grown out over time was the root base, not necessarily the word wistful, sorry. But that's.
Yeah, and it may be late to change it. I just did that. This is the first time I've seen the logo, and that was just my initial reaction.
Yeah, but I think I think if we went with this because we thought it was like express what we were trying to do, which was like grow people's knowledge and that kind of thing. So I kind of like what Joe is suggesting in chat, which is would sidestep the problem of accidentally having used the same acronym as something else, which is to replace the W with a K. So it's knowledge instead of wisdom. I kind of like that. It's still, it's still the same idea. What do y'all?
And then from plants, I don't know if people will know their flowers. If I see purple and I see vines, maybe I was just in Napa for that conference. I see grapes. So.
I mean, as an initialism, either one is fine, but as an acronym, KIST sounds like a more dangerous choice than WIST.
Mwah. It's more like chef kiss, like mwah, like it was really good. That's I think
about standards and technology wisdom. STW. I don't know about that one, Joe. Well, so the problem with the K is that KIST might be
Too affectionate.
Too affectionate, which precisely describes how I feel about all of you, is very affectionate, but maybe that's not a props. So which I could see.
Could someone kind of clarify what is it that we're really doing with this name?
I think we're trying to be descriptive about what the site is and what the goals of the project are, right? To educate people, to help them grow their careers, to help them feel like they can be really effective as participants, as developers in the new, paradigm of open source and standards, and the way that all works. And to provide this as like a descriptive resource place. That I think is the objective. So it replaced a number of other zany name ideas with something that's a little bit more concrete. And I think we were kind of playing with the acronym because of how many acronyms there are in standards and just sort of all that. But, if we want to revisit that idea of it being an acronym, maybe that's fine.
Recursive acronym, anyone?
Pardon, Hemant? What was that?
I was saying, is anyone voting for a recursive acronym?
A recursive acronym? Like that?
Like GNU?
Those are a little obscure. I mean, we could do it, but people often that leads to people making up what it means.
Right. Let's kind of going back to first principles of things that we like. We like to be descriptive. I think we don't want to do some kind of fanciful name like Swizzlefish, which I learned was a option for an open API spec name at one point. And I'm like, damn, we could have had Swizzlefish. That would have been cool. So we want something descriptive. I think we liked very much the idea that the brand connoted growth and nurturing and caretaking and that kind of thing. So the sort of the garden or the support trellis or that kind of thing was a good. I'm just testing that those are still things that we're yeah, we liked.
Do we want to add an OpenJS to it? Would that help with the acronym? Maybe. I know it's a standalone thing. It is created by this working group, so. Yeah.
So Joe recommended in the chat learning in standards and technology, which can be abbreviated to LIST, which is actually quite nice, I think. And
I agree.
I like list. I just wasn't sure if it was too generic, like list.
Well, it's not a resource center, so you're already winning there.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I think learning in it's kind of, again, it's descriptive on that theme. This will be a site with lots of lists of different resources. So it's kind of recursive in that way. I like it. And I think that that helps.
We could still have a gardening theme, Jory.
Yeah, we can
Want to nurture the roots.
List. Yeah, they don't have to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, if we like the gardening stuff, it can stay. Okay, list. We can have LF design replace the W's with L's. Lovely.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. Okay, so let's try that. Let's also kind of continue this questioning around like stylistically. To Robin's point, the serif W feels WordPress, right? And so if we were to just imagine these as L's instead of W's, is it still too, does it still lean a little bit too much toward the, you know, that which is already exists, which is like the WordPress style here, probably, maybe.
I feel like if we're going with list, there's lots of creative, what's the word I'm looking for? Creative applications of an L and some sort of scroll or list or something. Maybe that'd be too literal, I'm not sure, but I feel like a designer could definitely do something with that.
Yeah, and like on that point, like, so I'm going to jump down to the last page here, 10. Like if there was like, I don't know, obviously forget the grape situation and here, which is no longer applicable. Grape situation, I think, is a good way to describe this. Please ignore the grape situation happening on this page. But then like list in some kind of like this would be a little bit more appropriate, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, but I think regardless, one of the things that, and I don't remember who said it last time because we were just super quick sharing on our way out the door, was there was feedback that this sort of like, yeah, grape situation, the branching, like with whatever this is, like this looks like rain or not grapes. It doesn't kind of read too well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we probably don't want that.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think
Well,
that what oh, sorry.
No, I was just wondering like how many people are going to recognize wisteria trees and like,
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
One general direction is I like something a little more modern and light. So maybe more sans serifs than serifs, just something that doesn't look like heavy and stodgy or, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think approachability is a big factor here, right? And so like maybe some of the like from like a typography perspective, some of the things that feel more formal, like they should be engraved on a brass plate, aren't really reflective of like the grape situation that we want, where, you know, maybe something that's a little bit more you know, fun, but I don't know, balance.
Yeah, interesting and inviting and
Yeah.
Modern, yeah.
Yeah, modern. Okay, so I mean, I feel like we would definitely need to see with a change from the W to the L and sort of shifting this from kind of a focus on wisteria and etc. as sort of the root idea to list, which probably opens us up to a lot more. I think, as Emily was saying, a lot more creatively. Maybe we can go back with a couple of pieces of feedback. One is we're now learning in standards and technology instead of wisdom. We want to X-nay on the grape situation. And we like the kind of more modern, approachable type feel versus the like kind of the formal piece, and that will.
So one other question for this group. So we don't have OpenJS. Do we want at least the OpenJS family of colors? Or do we care? I kind of think it makes sense to pick one color within that palette, which are essentially blues and greens, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, the naming of this thing doesn't suggest that it's specific to JavaScript or the OpenJS Foundation. Is it intended to be that way, to be constrained to that, or is intended to eventually grow beyond it, in which case maybe it shouldn't share the branding?
I think with us owning the domain and the responsibility for it, and I would, in this group creating it, it doesn't have to be explicit, but I think sort of implicit within the family would be my vote, but I'm open.
I feel like we can borrow from OpenJS like color profiles that we have. I mean, we've taken the decision to kind of brand it separately, but obviously have, as we do with all the other kind of project sites, like the OpenJS footer and that kind of those pieces in the base to kind of tie the project to the foundation much more clearly. But if it's
like JavaScript Landia uses our colors a little bit, but it has its own unique identity. So
cool. Oh, I missed gist, which I also like. Hemant, that's good. GIST. That's
oh,
good. I don't know what G would stand for exactly, but it's like, oh, do you get the gist?
I know. I like it.
Growth.
Growth. Oh, dang, that's good. That is good though.
Oh.
I don't know. I might like that more than list. I don't know.
Gist.github.com.
Right.
Yeah. GitHub can't own the trademark to a word though.
No, they can't.
Thanks, Hemant.
All right. Thanks, Hemant. Okay. So, all right. I think we've got like 4 or 5 pieces of feedback we can turn around back to the design folks now, which is cool. So I will get that out to them and hopefully have something back soon, now that they're done with events for the year. So many events. Cool. Groovy. Let's see. The other item that I had for us, let me go, that was not agended. Let me go pull it up. So I am sharing this accurately. Is the W3C tag elections are open. And that means we get to cast our ballot on behalf of the foundation. Let me go find, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing everyone's names correctly. We have several weeks to do this, so there's no rush or anything, but best to probably get it on out of the way. There, as I said earlier, there were grooviness. That's good. There were several. There were 4 candidates for 3 open tag seats. Several of them are rerunning. So one is Rosanen Antonasov from Microsoft, Kenneth Rode Christensen from Intel, and Sangwon Moon from Google. Those are our 3 incumbents who are running again for TAG. There's additionally a new, another nominee, Max Lau from Alibaba. And so let me pop those names into chat here for you all. And the public nomination statements, and here's a link to that as well in chat. So no action needed today, but ideally in the next week or two, if you have any strong feelings about this election, how OpenJS should vote, please make sure to let us know. We have until the 15th.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm take that back. The Boston time, basically midnight on December 14th, Boston time. Yeah. Any questions there? Cool, groovy. Upcoming meetings, any upcoming standards meetings to sync up on, prepare for it? We're kind of moving into quiet time, which is nice. I'll share that the TPAC Developer Week talks are slowly but surely making their way up on YouTube. So if you missed any of the TPAC developer breakout sessions, those are public and up. So that's cool.
DC39's last meeting of the year is in a month. Not imminent, but coming.
Yep. Yep, moving more toward holidays and stuff. So you see that stuff winding down for the year a little bit. And we start to see also around this time, the calendar of meetings for next year. So be on the lookout for notifications about meetings and such next year, right? Which relatedly, W3C has already announced that their AC member meeting in the spring will be remote, but they're planning to do TPAC in person for the first time in the fall in Vancouver. So it's starting to see some of that stuff coming back, not just, on the calendar, but on the calendar for in person next year. And that's a bit exciting. So
DC39 is hosting its June plenary at OpenJS World in Austin. So we already have the space reserved and excited about that.
very excited about that.
Can I ask on that note? I assume we're planning a collaborator summit of sorts.
Yes, Thursday, Friday, lots of space reserved.
Great.
So that's a great reminder and call out to the project communities. If you want to if you want to have space for a collab summit, now's the time to let us know so we can start squaring that away and scheduling that.
What we could do.
Yeah, so Joe, essentially the weekday 0 Monday are workshops, Tuesday, Wednesday, conference, Thursday, Friday, collab summits.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay, if there's no other business, we can adjourn. I'll close the stream. Say goodbye.